What's up, my friends? Good evening, and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from just outside of Chicago on this historic day 54 of President Trump reclaiming the White House, and what a day it has been. Tonight, we're going to take you through a series of events the mainstream media won't touch, developments that are reshaping America while the corporate press obsesses over pronouns and which bathrooms people should use. The show isn't just about me talking, it's about you. Right now, we're streaming live to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X. We can see your comments rolling in. Wow, look at all you guys. Tonight, we'll be featuring your reactions to the day's news directly on screen for the world to see. We'll be reading your super chats and your Rumble rants between segments because your voice matters. In fact, it matters more than mine. And here's something the algorithm doesn't want you to know. If you share the stream via text message, that's right, text message to your friends right now, you will bypass the digital censors trying to bury this broadcast. And that's how we win, person to person, American to American. Now, tonight's lineup is rather explosive. We're going to start with Trump's strategic moves that have the deep state on high alert. Executive orders are coming, and still nobody knows what's inside them. The bureaucrats are panicking, and for good reason. Then we're going to dive into how President Trump and Elon Musk are pushing back against the globalist grip as Democrats completely lose their minds. When billionaires turn against the machine that made them rich, you know something seismic is happening. We'll also cover Trump's immigration victories that are shocking the system. The numbers don't lie, and they're devastating for the open borders crowd. Next, the collapse of the Democrat Party is now in full view. We have the receipts, and tonight we are going to air them. And finally, Trump's winning strategy has been exposed. America First takes a hard stand against the global system, and the results speak for themselves. But we can't do this alone. This show, this platform for truth, it exists because of your support, and the links to donate are in the description below. Yes, Next News gets 100% of those donations. Every dollar keeps us independent, keeps us fighting, and keeps us on the air, bringing you the real stories they don't want told. And of course, we've launched our YouTube channel memberships. We now have over 1,000 new members. We've got exclusive perks, different levels of support. Join now to get special acknowledgement in the chat and unlock exclusive access to our team. And I did get a phone message from one of our Sentinel level members today. And he was inquiring how he can get direct access to the team. Now, what happens when you do get direct access at that level, you become part of our Discord chat room, and you're automatically added. So if you are at the Sentinel level, make sure you sign up for Discord. Discord. And then you'll be added into that chat room, and that's where we can have direct communication, okay? And also the merch shop, you can see it on screen, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, limited edition Next News swag, so you can show the world where you get your real news. Remember, your super chats get priority between segments. We're going to read them. Yes, we will. We see you, and we appreciate you. So settle in, maybe grab a drink or get some popcorn, because you're going to need it for what we're about to cover. This is the Raw Feed, and we're just getting started. Let's welcome you to the show. S23, Running Bear, Love All 131, C, Aloha, Sammy B.A., Sure You, Scott. We've also got, who else is here? Lots of people coming in. Benita and Ruth and Layla, Running Bear and Andrew and Phyllis, Jeremy, Adrian, Philippa C. and Kelly and Jeremy and Mona Lisa and Joe and Ephraim G., Wanda Holland, Spider-Man is here. MAGA is back. It is. Randall's here. Ruth. Who else? We've got Sue Gordon, Patricia, Sean, Richard Romero, Rick Harris, Loretta, Randall Goss is in the house. Josie is here as well. Jay Grayson and Scontech, Joe Oliveira. We've got George in the house. Sean Duncan, David Jurist, Jeremy Olson, and we pinned Jeremy's comment to the top in case you want instant access to that shop, of course. Who else? Diana is here. Diana Smart, Wanda, Tom M., Mike Brady, Rose, Covenant, Zoa, Girl, Christie's here, Trefani, Jero, Layla, Michael, Sean, Randall's got his popcorn, Joseph J is here, Maya, Linda, Donnie H, Living Creature, George, Judith, Darren, Susan, Sammy, Seeker of Truth is here. The gang is all here. Let's jump into our first topic of the night. Make sure you share this stream. A couple reasons why we've been putting out so much content. In case you didn't know how the YouTube algorithm works specifically, is that you only are going to get 3 notifications per channel that we put out. And we put out like 12 videos today. Tom is in DC. He's been covering everything. So a lot of people aren't going to get notifications for this stream. So if you know some of the folks who are in the chat room who may have not got this notification, if you got their phone number, if you got their direct message, if you're in a Facebook group with them, make sure you post the link around so people can find out that we are in fact live. It helps tremendously. And also, I do want to welcome all of the new Twitter followers, our X follower. Our X account is blowing up right now. I think we've got over 10,000 new members. We're almost at 80,000 followers on X, which is absolutely amazing. And a lot of the content we're putting out there on X is actually the content we present on this show. So if you get there first, you're going to see a lot of the content that will be presented tonight. And John wants to be mentioned. John Connolly, what's up, man? And William. Okay, so let's get on with the show tonight. Good evening, America. What happens when a billionaire businessman takes over the most powerful office in the world and decides to actually use that power? Well, we're about to find out. Sources inside the White House tell us President Trump is preparing to sign a series of executive orders that will fundamentally reshape the federal government. The deep state's in panic mode. And meanwhile, Trump visited the DOJ today. Why? Well, we're going to find out because we have the clips. But the timing is interesting, isn't it? The JFK files, the Epstein documents. What exactly is the president looking for? And why are the career bureaucrats suddenly updating their resumes? Well, this is just the beginning. The real question is, who's next on Trump's list? As we step into 2025, one thing is clear: de-dollarization is accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. Their secret weapon is gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold, and they underreport their purchases. Doesn't that make you wonder why? They recognize gold's global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Well, gold is tangible, reliable, and it's immune to economic manipulation. And these countries, they want to be prepared. They just don't want it known. But this isn't just about nations. It's about you. In a world of shifting economic power, gold is your personal hedge against uncertainty, and Noble Gold Investments can help you secure your financial future. So visit nextnewsgold.com or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And with a qualified account, receive 10 one-ounce silver American Eagle coins. Make sure you tell them that Gary Franchi at Next News sent you. Okay, let's get into the topic here. Tom McCullough on the scene in Washington, D.C., right in front of the White House. Let's take a look.
McCullough reporting directly from the White House with the Next News Network. And folks, buckle up again. Today's another giant day. President Trump is back in the saddle, and we've got action straight coming out of the Oval Office. Later today at noon, he's signing executive orders. What's in them? We're not 100% sure yet. The White House is keeping it close to the chest, and you better believe we're all waiting to find out. Are these about the border, jobs, or maybe something bigger? We'll dig into that as soon as we get the details. Now, here's where it gets juicy. At 3 o'clock, Trump's heading over to the Department of Justice to give some remarks. And that's right, the DOJ, the very place folks have been whispering about for weeks. And why is that? Because we've got the looming specter of the JFK files, the Epstein list, and the Martin Luther King files hanging over us like a storm cloud. People want answers, and they want them right now. Remember back on January 23rd when Trump signed that executive order? He put a deadline on releasing those files, which is 45 days, And do the math, folks. Accounting for federal holidays, it's only been 36 working days since then. The clock is still ticking, the deadline's close, and despite all the whining that nothing's out yet, we're still in the window of review. I'm anxious also, but let's be real here. The doubters and the naysayers, they've been screaming, where are the files? Trump's bluffing. Well, let's hold your horses. The government doesn't move fast. It never has. It never will. They're reviewing. They're redacting. Hopefully not too much. They're stalling, the same old song and dance. But with Trump showing up the DOJ today, you've got to wonder, is this the moment? Are we finally going to see the truth about JFK, RFK, MLK, and that creepy Epstein mess? A lot of you out there and I mean a lot, are waiting for it. That's all the comments we have. You've been tired of the cover-ups, the lies, and the excuses, and I know I am. I know Gary is. We're all itching for this. Let's back up here for a second. That executive order Trump signed in January, it wasn't just hot air. It said the JFK files get a plan within 15 days and the MLK and RFK stuff within 45 days. The Epstein documents, some of those have already trickled out, hundreds of pages, flight logs, names, but it's not enough. People want the full picture. And when Trump walks into that DOJ building today with Attorney General Pam Bondi by his side, you can bet eyes will be glued to every word he says. Will he drop a bombshell? Will he call out the deep state? Or will it be more of that wait and see game we've all gotten used to? Hopefully not too much of that. And here's what I think. The establishment doesn't want you to know what's in those files. They've had decades to bury the truth. JFK's assassination, MLK's murder, Epstein's little black book. They built a fortress around it. But Trump, he's got a sledgehammer and he's not afraid to swing. I think he's got a bigger sledgehammer. If he delivers today, if he even hints at cracking those vaults open, it's going to send shockwaves. The elites will squirm, the media will spin, and the people, well, you'll finally get a taste of what they've been hiding. And we want that so bad. Now there's more on the plate today. After the DOJ, Trump's jetting off to Florida, to Mar-a-Lago, of course, around 5 o'clock. The man doesn't sit still, does he? He's signing orders, making speeches, and hopping states all in one day. And that's your president, folks. Full speed ahead. But for the real story, here's what happens before he leaves. Those executive orders at noon, they could be anything. Maybe he's doubling down on immigration. Maybe he's slashing some bloated government program. Maybe, just maybe, hopefully, he's setting the stage those files releases we've all been promised. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. The critics are loud. They say Trump's all talk and the files will stay locked up forever. The point to the Epstein flop last month, those binders handed to influencers with nothing new in them, fair point. But today, I'm hoping it feels different, that something is going to change. With the deadline closing in, with Trump stepping right into the DOJ's turf, this could be the turning point. And if it's not, well, we'll be right here calling it out because we want that just as much as every single one of you. So what's the takeaway? Stay tuned, folks. Noon for the executive orders, 3 p.m. for the DOJ remarks, and mark your calendars. We're on the edge of something big, or at least we hope we are. The truth about JFK, Epstein, MLK, it's dangling right in front of us. Will Trump pull the curtain back is what we want to know. And I don't know about you. I'm not holding my breath for the government to do the right thing on its own. It's going to take a fighter like Trump to make it happen. And again, this is Thomas McCullough. I'm reporting live from the White House today for the Next News Network. And again, if you like this, please share it. Please spread the word. Subscribe to Next News Network. We're here to keep you in the loop. No fluff, no nonsense. Until next time, you guys keep your eyes open. And we're going to be here holding everybody accountable, just like the fair and free media should be doing. God bless.
Well done, Tom McCullough. And then there was this heartfelt moment in the White House today. Tom actually got to ask Vivian Sleeth a question. She was the star press secretary today. She's been battling brain cancer since the age of 7. She's now 10 years old. Tom actually got to ask her a question.
What's your favorite movie? If you were the president for one day, what would you do?
Give kids a million Robux, no, V-Bucks, yeah. And then adults a coupon to a spa for an hour.
Oh, nice.
I support that.
And then $1,000 to homeless people.
Oh. Vivian, what's your puppy's name?
Omega.
Oh.
You're doing really good, girl. You're good answers.
Do you like TV shows or movies better?
Maybe. But I wish they were longer.
What's your favorite movie?
They only have that one.
I have a follow-up. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would you have? Any animal ever.
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. All of the animals. That sounds lovely. That sounds great.
Yep, it's not all hard politics there in the White House. There are some heartfelt moments, and we have more, though. This is from DOD. What's going on over there? We're going to check in on the press conference that's happening right now with the president in just a moment.
Secretary Hegg, welcome to the third installment of the Department of Defense's weekly situation report, or SITREP. This week, the Department of Defense wasted no time getting our military back to its core mission. Secretary Hegseth ordered a department-wide review of existing standards set by U.S. military branches pertaining to physical fitness, body composition, and grooming. Our troops will look sharp, not sloppy, and the DOD will see quality, not quotas. The Pentagon also announced that we're eliminating woke climate change programs and initiatives inconsistent with our core warfighting mission. Ukraine aid and intelligence sharing was reactivated in response to Zelensky's acceptance of a 30-day ceasefire. The president and the Secretary of Defense have been very, very clear. The U.S. wants to see peace in Ukraine. The killing must stop. Army Chief of Staff General George ordered a review of all general officer memorandums of reprimands that were issued to soldiers who refused to comply with the previous administration's COVID vaccine mandate. And last, Secretary Hegseth made OPM's 5 bullet points email assignment a weekly task for Pentagon civilians. Woke is out at the Department of Defense, and accountability and standards are in. Thank you for watching, America. God bless you all, and God bless this great country that we call home. Take care.
Right on, man. America is back. We've also got this. Here is J.D. Vance reflecting on some protesters this afternoon.
You protesters, we've got this great event, this great facility, great business, and of course, great workers. And I'm sure all of us saw there were a few protesters outside. And I can't be the only person wondering, it's a little after noon on a Friday, and don't you all have jobs? Who are the people?
Well, what's funny about what he's saying there, don't you have jobs? Yes, they have jobs. They've been hired to protest. Okay, it's AstroTurf. So they're actually at work. Let's see if he brings that up.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we've got to rebuild American manufacturing and support great companies like Vantage Plastics, because we want those people to get off the streets and back to work. It'd be good for them, and it'd be good for everybody else, too. We've got
J.D. Vance is awesome, man. He's going to make a great president someday. And here we have Dinesh D'Souza weighing in on the threats that Donald Trump made to the Maine governor. Let's listen.
The Trump administration has stopped funding to the entire University of Maine system, all the campuses. Why? Because the state, led by the governor, you remember the little showdown with the governor and Trump.
Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? You better do it, because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
They refused to comply with the executive order to keep transgender athletes out of women's sports. And so, boom. Now, this is again where Trump does what he says. There are a lot of Republicans who raise issues and warnings, and then they don't do anything. And we are so used to this kind of lack of follow-up, lack of action, that we're a little surprised when Trump follows through. Trump remembers she has no intention of following the executive order, which, by the way, has the force of law, or at least the force of executive action. And so it's time to cut off the funding, and so it is. The Trump administration has stopped.
And that's what he's doing. What else have we got here? Secretary Wright on the proposed natural gas pipelines in New York.
Win-win. Oh, I think it's highly likely that this pipeline, there's a couple of them actually get done. It's just such a win-win-win. You know, this will lower costs for people in the New York area, for New England, not just heating costs, which is a big deal. Old houses are heated by fuel oil. Natural gas is just so much cheaper and it burns cleaner. But it also lower electricity prices, which of course everyone would cheer for that as well, and allow businesses in New England or in New York City area to expand and grow their businesses and grow more jobs. So it's like no one loses by this, but silly politics of several years ago stopped these in the first go round. But I think it's quite likely these pipelines will be under construction before this year's over.
And that's something. That's what we need to get all the prices down by lowering the cost of energy. Here we have Laura Ingraham speaking with the vice president.
As a shield, Poland today has asked, the Polish president has asked for the United States to consider deploying nuclear weapons in Poland as a shield against future Russian aggression. This as President Trump meeting, of course, today with the NATO leader.
Sure.
What might happen on that front? And wouldn't that provoke Russia away from any deal with Ukraine?
So I haven't talked to the president about that particular issue, but I would be shocked if he was supportive of nuclear weapons extending further east into Europe. We have got to be careful, Laura. We are playing literally with the lives of the future of human civilization. This is one of the most important reasons why President Trump sees himself and in fact is a peace president. You have people like Joe Biden sleepily walking us into a nuclear conflict. Donald Trump is taking us in a totally different approach, and we need it. We need cooler heads to prevail. Yep. And on this Russia-Ukraine thing, Laura, I mean, look, the Biden administration strategy was literally to shovel weapons at the Ukrainians, allow the Russians and the Ukrainians to bleed out, and hope that somehow a settlement appeared out of thin air. Donald Trump is engaging in tough diplomacy and enlisting his entire administration to find out, what do Ukrainians want? What do they need? What do the Russians want? What do they need? Because the war is stupid. It would have never started if he had been president, and it continuing is not in the interest of anybody.
Amen. Yeah, let's get it over with. Let's get peace back on the table here. What do we have here? President Trump has gotten Rosie O'Donnell to self-deport. What?
President Trump has gotten Rosie O'Donnell to self-deport from the United States of America. You know, it wasn't explicitly one of our campaign promises, but it is a major first 100-day achievement, Sean. So you are welcome, America. Thanks to President Trump, Rosie O'Donnell has self-deported. You don't have to worry about that problem anymore.
Yeah, baby. Rosie O'Donnell is self-deported. That's so nice. And then here we have our press secretary talking about what is going on in the Middle East.
Have been working with our special envoy, Steve Witkoff, our national security advisor, Mike Waltz, Secretary of State Rubio, and the president himself have been working diligently to end this conflict in the Middle East and to ensure that all of the hostages can return home. I was in the Oval Office a couple of weeks ago with the president when he met with 8 recently released hostages, and they said to the president, every single one of them, they would not be alive if not for President Trump. So this administration will continue to work hard to release all of the hostages. President Trump is determined to do that.
Yeah, or there's going to be some serious hell to pay. What else have we got going on today? Big days in the White House. Vance, we're not going to foot the bill for the world anymore. Europe doesn't have the cards here.
A game of chicken tariffs on Europe. Europe came back to us and said, oh, no, we're gonna hit your whiskey. Trump then says, we're going to up you. It's like a game of chicken here, trade chicken, 200% on champagnes and wines to France. Now, that will destroy the French winemaking business, but they've been really tough on our winemaking industry for years.
Well, that's exactly the point. Look, Europe doesn't have the cards here. As President Trump likes to say, when you have actually penalized American companies and American workers, as the EU has for years, we're actually fighting back for the first time. But Laura, we have a $1 trillion trade deficit. We absorb
largest ever
the terrible economic policies from all over the world, and the world expects American consumers to foot the bill for their workers and their businesses, and Donald Trump is flipping that on its head. We are not going to do this anymore. We cannot run an economy where Americans borrow, go into debt to buy things that other people make for us. We're going to make it in America. We have to.
Tariffs on
J.D.
Europe.
Vance
Europe came
on
back
point. right there. Man, he is on fire today. What else have we got here? We've got NATO Chief Mark Rutte. He was just here confirming Ukraine will not be joining NATO. And that was one of the reasons that Putin started the war.
He's already taken off Ukraine joining NATO off the table. Mm-hmm. So Ukraine is left asking this question, how are we going to know we're going to have proper security?
Yeah, but he was also very clear, Pete Hegseth in Brussels, but also the president himself, that when there is a deal on Ukraine, it has to be lasting. It has to be durable. Putin should not have to try this again. So the question is then how do you do this post a peace deal? Then I would side with the president. You first need to have a peace deal before you can get into these details. Obviously, behind the screens, there will be discussions on the what if there is a peace deal, how then to maintain that. But there are many ways to do that.
Yeah, we do not need to be in, NATO does not need to be in Ukraine. Here we have, this is a clip from Tim Pool, Timcast, talking about the net reduction of federal authority is happening before our eyes.
And now, let me simplify it for you. You've beaten, battered, and spat over the people of this country. And Donald Trump is coming in, and he's gutting the bureaucratic state, and he's shutting down your corrupt institutions. And now y'all are crying to me, saying, please, please be a man of principle. I'm a man of principle. And my principles will be restored after this administrative wartime is over. Abraham Lincoln is the most popular president in American history. That's a fact. Look up all the polls. I don't know why. Maybe it's because people just know the name. It's top of mind more than anybody else. Winning the Civil War was significant, solidified this nation. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus and arrested people without charge or trial. Abraham Lincoln did a lot of things that people saw as tyrannical.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it like this. I do not believe it is true that Trump has done anything worthy of impeachment. That's silly. He's not committed any crimes. That's stupid. Y'all are making it up. But of the things that presidents do that I kind of don't like, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick over Donald Trump using continuing resolutions or things like that when y'all did 10 times worse. I'm not going to give you an inch to take from us and beat us over the head with. I am going to say to Donald Trump, do your thing. Make it so that these people can never wield this power against us. And while Donald Trump is gutting the deep state and the bureaucratic state, he's diminishing federal authority and power. So when you come to me and say, but Trump is doing these things where he's putting a billionaire in charge, he's making himself more powerful, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, look, dude, the end result of what Trump is doing is a curtailing of executive authority and the ability for the federal government to overreach. So you can argue that in sectors A, G, and F, Trump has increased power. And then I'm going to look across the board and be like, yeah, but he sure did dismantle literally every other sector. Meaning the net reduction of federal authority is happening right before our eyes. And you are not going to convince me that Donald Trump should be stopped when y'all did exactly the same thing, but times 10 and worse. And Joe Biden literally broke the law and never got prosecuted. Spare me.
What a great point. Let's take a look and see what's going on over at the Department of Justice right now. Lots happening, and the president talking about the Democrats and the media.
Immediately. For years, Democrats and the media kept saying that we needed new legislation. We had to have new legislation. We needed it immediately. And I never had legislation. I had the best border in the history of our country for almost 4 years. And by the time I got out, we had the lowest numbers ever. My favorite chart of all time was brought down that day. And on that chart said we had the lowest numbers ever. But it turned out that we really didn't need new legislation. All you needed was a new president. For years.
And the new president's what we got. And here President Trump gives a shout out to angel mom Tammy Nobles, whose 20-year-old daughter, Kyla Hamilton, was viciously murdered.
Strangled to death. We're joined today by Tammy Nobles, whose 20-year-old daughter, Kayla, was attacked in her home 3 years ago, horrifically assaulted and strangled to death by an illegal alien MS-13 monster set loose into our country under the open border Biden regime. Kayla was one of countless American victims ripped away from their families by the open border policies of that administration. And We're also joined by Kayla's stepfather, Jeremiah, and several other courageous angel families here today. And I'd love you to all just stand up and take a bow because you are incredible people. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I want you to know that we are working every day to expel these savages from our country and ensure that what happened to your loved ones will never happen again. So their legacy is going to be a great one. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Wow. We got some more from the DOJ. Here is, he's talking about crime rates now.
By 14% under the Biden regime, average monthly homicides increased by 14%. Property crime rose tremendously. Violent crime went up at least 37% that they know of. Rape soared by 42%. Car thefts rose by 48%. And robberies surged to 63 to 100%. They don't even know what the number is. And I have no higher mission as President of the United States than to end this killing and stop this law breaking and to making America safe again. And that's what you're all about in this room. We want to protect Americans, and we protect everybody that's in our country, American or not American. We want to have a safe and proud country. We're under the Biden regime.
And we've got more from the president on restoring law and order. This was just 22 minutes ago.
Restoring public safety and everything we do, we're restoring law, restoring order, and restoring public safety in America. That's what we want to do. And we're bringing honor and integrity and accountability back to the highest levels of the FBI, DOJ, and throughout our government. We're bringing our country back faster than anyone ever thought possible. We're working so hard at doing it, and we want fairness in the courts. The courts are a big factor. The elections, which were totally rigged, are a big factor. We have to have honest elections. We have to have borders, and we have to have courts and law that's fair. They're in everything we do.
We've got more from the DOJ. I was hoping he would be talking more about the release of these files, but of course we are still in the review window. Here he's talking about who he's joined with in the room at the DOJ.
The president, who we're joined today by dozens of police officers, sheriffs and sheriff's deputies from all across the country. My message to these law enforcement heroes is simple. With me in the White House, you once again have a president who will always have your back, will always have your back. Thank you, folks. Thank you. That's a
lot of people in that room there. That applause is loud. Here we have more. Oh, this is good. This is good about banning government censorship.
That's why on day one I signed an executive order banning all government censorship and directing the removal of every bureaucrat who conspired to attack free speech and many other things and values in America. My administration stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We revoked the clearances of deranged Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, and the crooked law firms that aided their partisan persecutions. And I went through it. These are state and city courts, and the corruption is unbelievable. We also terminated the clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself. He didn't deserve it. In fact, he was essentially found guilty, but they said he was incompetent, and therefore let's not find him guilty, I guess. Nobody knows what that ruling was, but I didn't want any part of it. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found with him. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and therefore he's let him go. I said, you know, I'd rather be convicted, Pam, I think, than that. That was not, I said, please convict me, don't say that. I pardoned hundreds of political prisoners who had been grossly mistreated. We removed the senior FBI officials who misdirected resources to send SWAT teams after grandmothers and J6 hostages. And it was a great honor for me to fire, I will tell you this, a great honor to fire James Comey. A great, great honor. That was nothing. There was no better day. A lot of people said, oh, that's too bad you did that. And they said that's going to be, and you know what? A year later, they said that actually saved the administration, because the level of corrupt things that we learned after that turned out to be that they were doing, in fact, really bad things. He was a terrible person, did terrible things, and persecuted people. And all in the guise of being an angel, but he wasn't an angel. That's why.
Yeah, I remember when you were called a conspiracy theorist when you tried to speak out about that. Yeah, it turns out it was all true. Here we have more about, wow, listen to this. Right inside the DOJ, he says we must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls. Wow.
Generations. But first, we must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls. Unfortunately, in recent years, a corrupt group of hacks and radicals within the ranks of the American government obliterated the trust and goodwill built up over generations. They weaponized the vast powers of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies to try and thwart the will of the American people. You remember the 51 intelligence agents that said, as an example, that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell came from Russia, when they knew it came right from his bedroom. They knew that. It was a big lie, and they knew it so well. They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and supporters, raided my home, Mar-a-Lago, and did everything within their power to prevent me from becoming the president of the United States. With the help of radicals like Mark Elias, Mark Pomerantz, and these are people that nobody's ever seen anything like it. So many others, but these are people that are bad people, really bad people. They tried to turn America into a corrupt communist and third world country. But in the end, the thugs failed and the truth won. Freedom won, justice won, democracy won, and above all, the American people won. There could be no more heinous betrayal of American values than to use the law to terrorize the innocent and reward the wicked. And that's what they were doing at a level that's never been seen before. And it's exactly what you saw with Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and their cronies to do the building of the last 4 years. They ripped, what they've ripped down is incalculable. But what you're going to build up is likewise something that will be breaking all sorts of records. But first,
oh man, this guy, President Trump, an absolute bulldog in the Department of Justice right now, naming names and just calling out the disgraceful behavior and actions of the weaponization of that department, and declaring that a new day of justice is finally dawning. This is so beautiful, my friends. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we've got some more. Trump arrives at the same Department of Justice that was weaponized against him, and now his portrait hangs in the lobby like a boss. The man shows up to the place that tried to destroy him. Holy cow. There he is with Pambandi, looking at his portrait hanging above. What's he saying? What's he saying?
He was such a nice person. That's a rough picture. That's a rough picture.
We're waiting on JD's to go up.
That's good. Thank you.
You know what they should do? They should hang the mugshot up there. Yeah, that's what they should do. You know, he has the mugshot hanging outside the entrance to the Oval Office. Wow. That is absolutely epic. Here he is talking about the new chapter in the Chronicles of American Justice.
Long years as we begin a proud new chapter in the Chronicles of American Justice. This really is something. We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals. And we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And you're the people that are doing it. Very, very proud of all of you. Under the Trump administration, the DOJ and the FBI will once again become the premier crime-fighting agencies on the face of the earth. People ask me, what am I going to do about law enforcement all the time? The fake news back there, they're asking me that all the time. What am I going to do? And when are you going to do it? And I answer them by saying I've already done most of it by appointing the people that I've appointed. They're sitting right here as we begin a proud new chapter.
He's already cleaning house. He's appointing new leadership and bringing in a new era of justice. And let's see, here is Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche talking about the president, what his promises are.
The president promised that under his watch, we will no longer stand by while universities tolerate and facilitate anti-Semitism and support of terrorism on their campuses. The department's recent actions, which hopefully you've seen at Columbia University in coordination with our law enforcement agency partners, are part of the administration's mission to end anti-Semitism in this country. Just last night, we worked with the Department of Homeland Security to execute search warrants from an investigation into Columbia University for harboring and concealing illegal aliens on its campus. That investigation is ongoing, and we are also looking at whether Columbia's handling of earlier incidents violated civil rights laws and included terrorism crimes. This is long overdue. Let me be clear. Hamas is a terrorist organization. It has the blood of American citizens on its hands, innocent victims, many of whom are citizens of this country, have died because of Hamas's actions. Any person engaging in material support of terrorism will be prosecuted. The president promised that under his watch,
a new day has dawned in Washington. So here we have President Trump, day 54, already launching a full-scale assault on the bureaucratic machine that's been strangling our country for decades. What we're witnessing is nothing short of revolutionary. While the media focuses on tweets and personality disputes, Trump is systematically dismantling the administrative state. Now, those upcoming executive orders, well, we're still waiting to find out exactly what he signed today at noon. But I'm sure they're not just policy changes, they're a complete paradigm shift in how Washington operates. And it's quite odd. Normally we get a readout on what those executive orders are. We're going to have to wait and see. But his visit to the DOJ, absolutely amazing. Yes, he is just walking right in and setting the tone right inside those walls. So why are the career officials so nervous? Because they may be next on the chopping block. Now, I want to ask you this. If Trump is willing to take on the deep state this aggressively in just his first 2 months, what will America look like by the end of his term? Are we finally seeing the swamp drained? Drop a comment below and grab your Next News Network swag from our merch shop before they sell out. It's linked down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Grab a hat, grab a shirt, show the world you stand with real news. All right, let's get into the chat room real quick and see what's going on. I saw that Juan is back in action. Downhillin has just become a member. Welcome to the family. Juan Ruiz gifting 20 new memberships. Unbelievable. I don't think we have any actual super chat revenue today. That's kind of strange. And now a note to all of our new members. I will be going to Washington, D.C. This coming week. So keep an eye out for some behind the scenes footage while I'm there. It's always fun to deliver that stuff to you guys and tell you what's really going on. These are things you'll never see published, but stuff that you guys have exclusive access to. Now let's jump into our next topic of the day. What have we got in the DOGE department? We're going to find out real soon because I love the DOGE and the DOGE loves me. Wow, lots of stuff. Lots of great stuff in this segment. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, and we got a great clip from Obama. This is a throwback. It's going to make your guys' heads explode. Buckle up. Ladies and gentlemen, the unholy alliance that's keeping Washington elites awake at night has officially formed. President Trump and Elon Musk, two men who were never supposed to share power, are now working together to dismantle decades of government bloat. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is already uncovering billions in waste. And how are Democrats responding? By hiring protesters. That's right, a Soros-funded group has been caught red-handed paying people to oppose government efficiency. Think about that for a second. Meanwhile, a federal judge caught on tape ranting against Trump is now blocking the president from firing corrupt bureaucrats. The same people who've been working against America's interests for years are now hiding behind judicial robes. But here's the real story. The establishment isn't just afraid of Trump anymore. They are terrified of you finding out what they're doing. And as Trump and Musk expose government waste, you should know about another revolutionary breakthrough. A 2024 study shows collagen dramatically improves skin health, just as DOGE improves government efficiency. Women taking this multi-collagen formula report fewer wrinkles and firmer skin, like Trump's team exposing corruption. The science-backed formula reveals your true potential. It features 5 essential collagen types that work together, similar to how Trump and Musk are working to transform America. While they clean up Washington, you can rejuvenate your appearance. Claim your 51% discount today at healthwithgary.com. It's linked below before this special offer expires. Now we're going to go back in time. Yes, there he is. Barack Obama himself. Where were the hired protesters then? Barack Obama said, "We don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending. These are important steps that can save taxpayers billions of dollars." And the fun fact is that Barack Obama is responsible for the office that became DOGE. Let's take a flashback before we get into the good stuff.
Secretary, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job.
Look at that. Cutting waste and promoting efficiency. November 9th, 2011. I mean, Barack Obama created DOGE, guys. Did you know that?
Here in Washington, in rooting out wasteful spending. At a time when families have had to cut back, have had to make some tough decisions about getting rid of things that they don't need in order to make the investments that they do.
Wow.
We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. Obviously, this is even more important given the deficits that we've inherited and that have grown as a consequence of this recession. This makes these efforts even more imperative. Now, this does mean making some tough choices. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. We don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there.
So anytime someone comes up to you and says, but DOGE is cutting all this waste and fraud, and they're doing it just because they want to make Elon Musk richer. Show them this. Show them that it was their savior, Barack Obama, that started this whole thing. Yeah. Okay, here is Secretary Brooke Rollins at the USDA. This is just 3 hours ago. Let's get an update on DOGE at the USDA.
61,000. Hi, everyone. It's Brooke Rollins again with another DOGE update. More wasteful spending at USDA. Just a few minutes ago, we terminated another grant. This one was $361,000 in New York City to support queer and trans farmers and urban consumers. As promised, we are working to end all waste, fraud, and abuse in this department today for all of you, but especially for our American farmers and ranchers and our ag community who deserve better. Thank you.
Wait, what did she say? She said this $361,000.
$361,000 in New York City to support queer and trans farmers and urban consumers.
Queer and trans farmers. Okay. I guess that's a thing. Meanwhile, the White House announces more massive layoffs across multiple agencies. The White House revealed plans to reduce staff across various federal agencies March 14th, 2025, citing budget constraints and shifting priorities. Let's listen in.
An audit. Tonight, the Pentagon is bracing for the intense scrutiny from Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. The defense agency has never passed an audit. Think about that. Never passed an audit, and is notorious for contractor price gouging. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin takes a look tonight.
We welcome DOGE to the Pentagon.
Tasked with cutting 8% from the Defense Department's $850 billion budget, the first DOGE team members arrived last week at the Pentagon, which employs 3.7 million people and has never passed an audit.
I would put a big red bullseye on the process by which we manage weapon systems.
A system that hasn't been updated in decades.
The defense acquisition process is massively broken. The United States is issuing missile purchases through fax machines. It's using spreadsheets and data calls.
As a result, F-35 fifth-generation stealth fighter jets can't get out of depot because they're missing parts. The next-generation intercontinental ballistic missile, a key part of the nuclear triad, is $35 billion over budget. To get ahead of the DOGE team, the Navy is considering cutting its fleet of frigates, while the Army is looking for savings by eliminating outdated drones and surplus vehicles.
I, for one, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, welcome DOGE coming into the Pentagon and helping us cut tape.
The Department of Government Inefficiencies is causing a reign of terror, chaos across the federal government.
Concern the DOGE team will move too fast was realized after it purged 2,000 federal workers from the Department of Energy, including 350 who oversaw the nation's nuclear arsenal, many working at the Pantex plant near Amarillo, Texas, reassembling nuclear warheads.
The administration then did an about-face last week and quickly tried to locate and rehire 350 Department of Energy employees overseeing the nukes. The Pentagon wants to avoid this kind of mistake by welcoming Elon's team and cooperating. Brett?
Oh, whoops. Looks like we pressed the wrong button on the firing. Who's going to get fired? Oh, man. Okay. Here we have Natalie Winters, Real America's Voice, outside the White House.
Grassroots is where the sort of grassroots Democrats are on this, right? If you look in the same way that our audience knows just how we hound our senators, our representatives, you're seeing the same exact thing go down now with the Democrat grassroots. For example, right, these groups that were organizing those town halls to oppose DOGE, groups like Indivisible, they have shepherded all their resources, they have rallied the troops, and they are descending not just upon Washington, but into these districts to really go, or I guess these states to go.
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry, but I saw Tom in the background. Okay, look right. If on your screen, it would be on the right side of the screen. You see a little guy like holding up something. That's Tom. Holy cow, that's so funny. Watch.
Troops, and they are descending not just upon Washington, but into these districts to really go, or I guess these states, to go after these senators to make sure that they hold the line and basically force Trump into a shutdown. That is sort of the line, the angle of attack that they're taking. I want to put the pictures up on screen for you, Steve, though. Groups like Indivisible, particularly the shutdown, they're framing it through the lens of Musk or us. And they are now offering, they are reimbursing
protesters, whether it's at town halls or wherever it may be, hundreds of dollars for daring to come out and criticize the Trump administration and just basically support these senators who are not going to potentially join that, gang of 8 and help avert a government shutdown. So I think is where the
Natalie Winters outside the White House and Tom McCullough reporting right behind her. Here we have Jesse Waters. This is not your average breakup. Elon Musk caught Democrats censoring you, stealing from you, and now he's completely humiliating them.
Yourselves the better. I'm starting to realize these people might not have jobs doing and I'm starting to realize they might be getting paid to protest. And Will Cain showed Open Society, Soros is funding it. And that's fine. I love it. The more you guys make fools of yourselves, the better it is for moi. A couple years ago, Musk was saving the planet. He was going to other planets, and he was in love with the Democrats. They were both in love. And then they had this horrible breakup. But Musk says he didn't change, they changed. He was always about free enterprise and free speech. They went full wacko. They tried to transition one of his kids. And then he buys Twitter and realized that they were censoring everybody. And then he sees Trump get shot. It kind of gives him a political awakening, and he goes all in. And Trump gets elected. He comes in, he wants to make the government more efficient at great expense to himself and his company, and finds out the Democrats are stealing from the government. So he caught him censoring you, and then he caught him stealing from you, and he's humiliated them. This is not your average breakup. This is like you hit him where it hurts. And now the Democrats don't have the emotional intelligence to kind of reconcile this breakup, so they just oppose everything in a blind rage. It makes no sense. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have made them support shutdowns. They're against peace. They're against green cars. They're against women. It's weird, and we're watching it unfold. Now they're supporting an anti-Semite. This is a guy, he's not even American. He comes here, he hates Jews, he blows up Colombia, cost them $400 million, and they're out there like this guy's Gandhi. And so have at it, left. Keep going.
Keep going, because you only expose yourself even more with every ridiculous action. And speaking of exposing yourself, here we have a nice little clip, a little montage, just throwback, kind of like what we saw with Obama. Schumer, Sanders, and Pelosi have been pro-DOGE for years. But now it's their pet projects that are on the chopping block.
Government, and I think yes, you do have to cut some programs. I think there's waste out there that I think there are.
So that's Bernie Sanders, 2011, March 3rd.
Yes, you do have to cut some programs. I think there's waste out there that I think there are programs that can and should be cut.
Again, we all agree we have to get rid of waste, fraud, abuse, duplication, obsolescence, and the rest.
Nancy Pelosi, March 15th, 2011.
Fraud, abuse, duplication, obsolescence, and the rest. The GAO has given us a blueprint for that, and we subscribe to that. We all agree that we must reduce the deficit.
There's tremendous waste in government, and I think
Chuck Schumer, April 8th, 2011.
Any Democrat who ignores the lessons, the lessons of those who voted, the lessons of the last election, makes a mistake. The people did want government to cut out the waste and to shrink. Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, there's nothing like throwing their old comments back in their face, because the internet lives forever, doesn't it? Here we have now Caroline Levitt doubling down on fighting back. Let's talk about the absurdity.
A federal judge has ruled that tens of thousands of fired federal workers must be reinstated immediately. Okay, Karen, how are you going to fight that?
Well, let's talk about the absurdity of this, Stu. You have a single lower district court judge who ruled that all of these individuals need to be rehired, just usurping the executive authority of President Trump to fire federal workers. This cannot be allowed to happen. This ruling was unconstitutional. The White House and the Trump administration are prepared to fight back. And if you want to know how absurd this injunction was, just look at the numbers. In February alone, there have been 15 nationwide blocks of the Trump administration's agenda by these judges who are acting as judicial activists. Under Joe Biden, in 3 years, there were only 13 injunctions. In 3 years, in 1 month, we have had 15. You have a judicial system, these judges who are trying to have executive powers. If they want executive authority, they should run for president themselves. Everything this president is doing is within his executive power, and we are prepared to fight back.
A federal judge has...
So, yeah, what she's saying is exactly right. Separation of powers allows President Trump to manage the executive branch, and that's exactly what he's doing. And you have these activist judges coming in and trying to overrule the executive branch. That's an interference, and it's all going to get overthrown. But this is all designed to just kind of muck up the system, slow it down, and just try to generally block President Trump. What's this? The Dark Horse podcast? Not familiar with it. Musk helped get Trump elected. I think he may have been an easy error to make in Trump's mind. The coalition, whatever. Let's just see what they're saying here.
Enthusiasm for Trump. Musk helped get Trump elected, and I think it may have been an easy error to make in Trump's mind that the coalition that he was now involved with was him and Elon, as opposed to MAGA and Maha and the Unity Movement and almost all the disaffected Democrats. And, the Unity Movement is a giant tent, but there's so many people, the libertarians and the hippies and the, vaccine injured moms. And, so many people found either enthusiasm for Trump or, okay, not sure, but definitely the best option. And I'm really hopeful that he will do what he promised about Kennedy, do what he promised about Gabbard, put the people in whom he says he's aligned with and actually allow them to do some of the things that are really important to me.
And that's exactly what he's doing. Okay, we got some more to get to here. Let's see. Steve Bannon on the DOGE effort, actually interviewing with Gavin Newsom. You see, Gavin Newsom right now is positioning himself. He's starting a podcast, and he's bringing on all of these, if you want to say right-wing conservative voices to have a conversation. And okay, that's fine. Have a conversation. Dialogue is good. But what I believe is that Newsom is clearly positioning himself, trying to truly understand the language of the right, so he can co-opt it when it's his turn to run for president in 2028. So be very careful when you see these interviews. And I'm happy that people like, Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon are going on these shows. It's fine. But I believe that Newsom's moves are way more calculated.
Big critic of
also just even you saying something complimentary about Speaker Johnson. You've been pretty critical.
I've been very critical.
Yeah.
I've been very, up until today, I've been very critical about, we're in this job because of overpromising and underperforming. And I think you got to, in leadership, I think now, and I think it's a long way from him being out of the woods, is that now because he's got 6 months now, he's got to deliver like a real budget with real cuts. Because just back for your audience, the DOGE effort is waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, they're kind of like shock troops or special forces, and people can either say they're great or whatever. I would like to see a little more definition of what they've actually found. Okay,
that would be, all of us would. Accountability, transparency. I agree with that.
More transparency, but that doesn't, to me, get to the meat of it, because I think you're going to have programmatic cuts, and I've been a big proponent that those programmatic cuts have to start in the Defense Department. I was a naval officer for 8 years. My daughter went to West Point. I'm not a dove, but I think I've been a big critic of we're at $1 trillion now. And that's one of the reasons of this post-war international rules-based order. We just can't continue on with NATO. We got to have allies that really pitch in here. But you got to start in the Defense Department. You have to do programs and billets to get the budget deficit to 3.5% of GDP, roughly under $1 trillion, so that we can start. So somehow we can begin to finance this, because right now that's the driver of inflation. Biden, they just restated their numbers from the fourth quarter. And traditionally, the Biden thing has always been, the labor number has always been different, right? It's been, one thing, and we've criticized that for a long time. This one, the shocker, and I don't think that, and I've said this, that the guys on the economic team did enough for President Trump of pushing this. The inflation number went from 2.2% to 4.2%. And it really didn't even get mentioned in the business press. And I said, that shows you the underlying kind of burning inflation. And the reason that is you have to finance now essentially a third of the debt every year. So you're talking, I don't know, $10, $12 trillion of government securities you have to sell at higher interest rates. That's what's driving inflation. Plus, I think a too loose Federal Reserve. So you had both a fiscal overspending and a monetary loose money. We've got an inflation problem that's not going to be easily solved. The way to solve inflation is you have to cut, I believe, federal spending dramatically. You have a Keynesian kind of stimulus all the time, and you have to do it. And that's going to lead to painful conversations.
Also, just even
painful conversations. We're watching them right there with Newsom and Bannon. But remember, Bannon's going into his audience. So Bannon has an opportunity to red pill a lot of those people. And then, of course, what happens on our side is we play these clips for you, and suddenly, like, Newsom seems like he's kind of a reasonable guy. But we cannot forget the radical policies that he has enforced and enacted in the state of California that's driven people out of that state. Okay? So as Newsom slowly starts to slither to the center, be very, very wary of what we're witnessing here. Okay? That's my take on what we're seeing. So I do applaud Bannon for going on the show to red pill these folks. Hopefully a lot of people are actually waking up on the Newsom side. Here is Secretary Howard Lutnick reminding the European Union who's in charge.
And lumber. Let's just go over, take a step back, and let's go over the big picture. So Donald Trump has said there are 5 big industries that he wants to take care of: steel, aluminum, and copper, automobiles, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, and lumber. And those 5 are really important to us for our national security, right? You need steel and aluminum. So when we put a steel and aluminum tariff, we need to teach the world, just let us rebuild. America needs to be in charge. Let us rebuild our steel and aluminum domestic production. And when we do that, tariffing our American whiskey, I mean, why is that credible? It seems illogical. So Donald Trump is just reminding the European Union who's in charge. Who do they run their big budget deficits with? Their trade deficits. They trade with us huge amounts. We buy their stuff all day, every day, and they need to respect Donald Trump, and he's going to teach them how to do that. Let's just go over to
Oh, he's teaching them all. Here we have the federal judge who blocked President Trump from firing bureaucrats and stripping Perkins Coie security clearances on tape, going on a crazy tirade against Trump. Oh, yeah. These people say it out in the open, and they have no shame.
He is having a very surprising and downright troubling moment in this country when the very importance of facts is dismissed or ignored. That's a very risky business for all of us and our democracy. The historian Heather Cox Richardson, whose book I've been reading, explains in her new book, which is a bestseller, so many of you may have already read it, Democracy Awakening, that burying facts with false history telling is one of the keys to the rise of authoritarianism. As she bluntly puts it, big lies are springboards for authoritarians. She cautions in her book's opening line, it's the very first line, America is at a crossroads, teetering on the brink of authoritarianism. And she echoes this thought in her closing line, that we are at a time of testing, and how it comes out resting, as it always has, is in our own hands. In between those 2 points, in the first line and the last, her book focuses on historical facts to set the record straight about recreated and imagined conspiratorial retellings of our country's history, recent and long ago. My DC judicial colleagues and I regularly see the impact of big lies at the sentencing of hundreds of individuals who have been convicted for offense conduct on January 6, 2021. when they disrupted the certification of the 2020 presidential election at the U.S. Capitol. As district court judges, we are all about the facts.
Wow, talk about revealing your intention. Oh no, the Government Accountability Office found $661 billion in fraud. Holy cow.
$1 billion. We were just given the biggest financial news in my lifetime, and it seems like the mainstream media just doesn't give a fuck. $661 billion per year. 10% of our entire fucking budget. That's how much money they found was being spent every year on improper and fraudulent payments in Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Oh, and before all you liberals freak out and say, oh, this is just more misinformation from Elon Musk, it wasn't DOGE that found this. No, it was the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, an organization that was founded in 1921. For those of you bad at math, that is 104 fucking years ago. They're the ones who published this report. And they recently finished their evaluation of payments given through Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They'd been doing this investigation for about 2 years now. And they found $661 billion in fraud. Like I said, you got to understand, our annual budget is $6 trillion. Well, I mean, it's around $6 trillion. But that means that 10% of everything our government spends every year is fraud. 10% of our entire federal budget is either improper or fraudulent payments in just 3 programs. And the GAO says this has probably been going on for decades. You understand how bad that is, right? Like, if we could have eliminated that in the last 10 years, that could have eliminated almost 20% of all federal debt. 1/5 of all of our federal debt could have been gone through that. And like I said, it's not wild that we found this vast amount of fraud. Like, we figured that was happening. But the problem is, why is this not the biggest news across every fucking website? 10% of our annual budget is fucking fraud. This is a big fucking deal in the media.
Okay, all right, enough the F-bombs. We get your point. But we're trying to bring that point out for you. $661 billion in fraud. It is unbelievable. Here we have Elon, JP Morgan, the CEO, says Elon is our Einstein. Whoa.
Einstein. And so, I mean, you got to look at Elon. I mean, SpaceX. I mean, Tesla. You know, Neuralink. The guy is our Einstein. And so, and I like to be helpful to him and his company as much as we can. I think it is completely rational for someone to look at our government and say it's been ineffective. We deserve good government. And I don't think anyone thinks sending another $1 trillion to Washington, D.C. will lend to good government. So government needs to be more accountable. It needs to be more efficient. It should be outcomes-based. I mean, I say department by department, so I wish them the best. It's going to be complicated. As you know, the federal government's complicated. You read about all the people in it. And so, you know, if we could be helpful to them, and I'd love to be helpful to them.
Wow. Okay, here we have some more commentary. This one just says based.
Don't be a goddamn. My grandmother used to have a saying, it's all right to be a fool, but don't be a goddamn fool. You understand? When you keep saying, and stupid ass people like you, they keep saying, he's a felon. Peep game. I'm going to put you up on some shit. You see all what him and Elon Musk is revealing, recovering, and exposing to the people? Of course the motherfucker would try to frame you, dumbass. Of course the motherfucker gonna put 91 charges on your motherfucking ass.
Okay, slow down, dude. We get it. All right. Here is Democrats are sadly choosing to fearmonger about DOGE because they don't want to give up their grift.
Canceled. It's about Marco Rubio was up early this morning, tweeting at about 4 a.m., saying that 83% of the USAID programs have been canceled. It's about 5,200 contracts. You know, I think for most everyday Americans, when they hear about these slashes at home, they wonder how that's going to impact them. How do you see this USAID slash impacting everyday Americans, ma'am?
I don't think it's going to affect everyday Americans. I really don't. I think Rubio has been very clear that life-saving aid is something that we're still focused on. But when you think about all the money that's been going for, you know, transgendered operas in foreign countries, we scratch our heads and like, why are we spending taxpayer dollars on this? When you think about the monuments in Egypt and in Iraq that we've been funding, why are we spending US dollars on this? And I think I'm grateful that we have a DOGE effort that's looking at why, where these American dollars are going. And again, I haven't heard people defending that. They've just been yelling at the messenger, not the message. And I would hope that all of us would get behind and see where these dollars are being wasted and say enough is enough.
Enough is enough indeed. So what we're witnessing is unprecedented. Elon Musk, once the darling of the progressive elite, now standing alongside President Trump to expose government corruption. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon calls Musk our Einstein and the left. Well, they're burning down Tesla showrooms. This isn't just political theater. It's a fundamental power shift. For decades, government has operated as a black box, taking in trillions and providing little accountability. Now, with DOGE uncovering $661 billion in fraud, the rats are scurrying. The media wants you to focus on personality and drama because they don't want you asking the most important question. If Musk and Trump can find hundreds of billions in waste in just weeks, how much more is still hidden? And who's been profiting from this corruption for decades? Drop a comment below. Show your support for government efficiency with our exclusive MAGAvengers gear in the Next News merch shop, linked down below. MAGAvengers t-shirt featuring Elon Musk and Ron Paul. We've also got a MAGAvengers hat and a Next News hat. That's how we identify each other on the road. See ya. Okay, we got Pothead Kenny dropping $5. Much love from Kathy, Gary, staff, and family. Thank you, Pothead Kenny. And then Leo Ox. Gary, love the bagpipes. Albanach is my favorite Scottish band. Oh, yes, I love bagpipes, man. Oh, yes. Oh, man, they strike right at my heart. I'll never forget the bagpipes at my mother's funeral either. Never forget that. Let's get into, something is wrong with X. Is X down? This is a first. Oops, something is wrong. That's not good. We've got more news to get to. Is that for everybody? Interesting. Cannot retrieve posts at this time. This is a first. Never seen this before. Okay. Brian, where are you seeing this? Where did you see that note? I'm looking at. Oh yeah, 1 minute ago. Did anyone else's bookmarks just disappear? What is this? Bookmarks are diabolical, bruh. Well. That's really interesting. Never seen that before. Okay. Wow. And that's like the backbone of the program. And that's how we sort all of our content to bring it to you. Uh-oh. What are we going to do now? Okay, so we got the border. Border crisis reversal stuns Washington. Okay, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be more raw than we thought it would be today. Oh boy, are you ready for this one? Yeah, they're hacking X right now, apparently. Yeah. Wow. Folders aren't loading right now. Holy cow. I should learn to play the bagpipes. Oh boy. Let's see here. Let's see if we can find something. This is crazy. President Trump just said the Biden's regime using AutoPen might have been illegal. Holy cow. AutoPen. Wow. Okay, this is I'm trying to come up with a solution on the fly here, guys. So just bear with me, would you please? This ain't good. Let's see. This has never happened before. All right, we're going to see what we can do here. Well, let's roll it. America, something remarkable is happening at our southern... Hang on. I'm like totally thrown off. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. America, something remarkable is happening at our southern border. The numbers are in and they're stunning. Border Patrol apprehensions of special interest illegal aliens are down across the border. Chinese down 96, Syrians down 85%. What's changed? Well, just one thing, the president. For 4 years, the Biden administration told us the border crisis was a right-wing fantasy while millions poured in. Now, with Trump back in the White House, the invasion is grinding to a halt. But the war isn't over. Border Patrol just had a standoff with armed cartel members in Arizona. And shockingly, deep state ICE officials are reportedly releasing illegals that Homeland Security captures. The question isn't whether Trump's policies work. The question is who's still fighting to keep the border open and why. As President Trump secures our borders, Dr. Josh has discovered something just as revolutionary for pain sufferers. Border apprehensions are down 99.8%. That's right. But Dr. Josh's turmeric extract is 200 times more powerful than regular turmeric. And just as Trump's policies are stopping illegal crossings, this breakthrough stops pain at its source. While the administration enforces immigration laws, you can enforce your no pain policy. When Border Patrol confronts cartels, you're confronting inflammation. Experience the same dramatic results for your pain that Trump delivered at the border at goldenrevive.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Okay, there was just a standoff at the border, and what just happened here? Like all my computers just froze. What is going on today? Okay, Brian, just cut this together. I don't know. My mouse won't even like show up on the screen here. Dude, what is going on? What the heck? Dude, like my Control-Alt-Delete doesn't even work. What? Do my buttons even work? I can't even see where my mouse is. Are my buttons working? Oh my goodness, hang on. Hello, I'm currently live right now. Is everything okay? Hello? 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 What is going on? Dude, it's like X goes down. My wife's butt dialing me. Computer's frozen. Okay, I'm gonna force reboot this computer. Are we still live? What the heck? Dude, this is too crazy. Like I've never seen this computer like seize up. Like updates are underway. Really? Freaking Microsoft! You really have? This is the time you pick to update my laptop? Great. Great. Maybe by the time this is I don't know, Todd, can you hear me? You probably can't hear me, can you? I don't even know. Okay, so if you're sending me stuff on Discord, it's not as simple as you think. Because each post would be its own tab, and then I have to jump back and forth to... This is too complicated. So we're restarting this computer. And Brian, I think what we'll do is we'll start this clip from the top if this thing shows back up. Otherwise, we may have to cut this show early. And what is a Mauritian? Mauritanians. Mauritanians? Mauritanians? That's a thing? You're 36% of the way there. Please keep your computer on. Holy cow. I don't even know what you guys are saying. I guess I'll have to go and see what you're saying, and by clicking on... I have to go to YouTube to look at my own chat room to see what you guys are saying. Clicking on... Oh, there we are. There's me on my own. Okay. Eclipse of the Moon last night was awesome. It's related to Bigfoot. Please speak in Greece's... What? They want the torture song? What? We're 94% of the way there. Please keep your computer on, it says. Gary, you're okay, says. Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? You're 95% of the way there. Almost there. Whose side are you on? Oh, Oh. Okay. Oh, this is messy. This is so messy. All right. I got a mouse now. Okay, let's see what happens next. What a mess. Are the bookmarks still down? Oh. Okay. They're still down? Are you serious? What? I can't see anything. If you had any idea what I'm getting text right now. Oh, come on. Seriously? Are they back? Really? I'm afraid. I'm like afraid to even like change anything that's being displayed on my phone at the moment. Can we just get this loaded here? Okay, let's open up the studio. Wow. Nah, they're here and they're gone. They're here and they're gone. No, they're trying to fix it over there. Someone call Elon. Todd, call Elon. Would you? Yeah. Or just text him. Yeah, that's why it's breaking, because Todd keeps refreshing it. Todd is the source of the DDoS attack that's happening right now. Oh, this is so funny. Okay, at least I have my computer back. Oh, what a mess. This is all happening. Did this really... Can you give me a new intro that doesn't have these crazy words in it? Is that possible? I don't know. I'll just read around it. It's just ridiculous. What is a Mauritanians? Mauritanian. What is a Mauritanian? Someone tell me what a Mauritanian is, please. I need a definition. Stat. What is a Mauritanian? This is all happening live, guys. What is a... Oh, they're from Mauritania. Or a film. But it's a country. It's a country in northern Africa. Yeah, well, at least 99.8% of apprehensions are down from Mauritania. I mean, what? I didn't know they were here either. Thank you, Tom Homan. You just educated us here at the Next News Network on the threat of the Mauritanians. The Mauritanians. Oh my goodness. How do you spell that? Mega Jack J Princess. Mauritanians. Mauritanians. Could you use it in a sentence, please? This is the spelling bee on the Next News Network. The Mauritanians are down 98% according to Tom Homan's records. Mauritanian. All right, sorry. Okay, do we have just last check here before we roll back this disaster of a segment? While Mauritanians are down, so is X. Oh, Todd, you're DDoSing X right now. Brian can't. Oh, you guys can't hear it. Todd can't hear. Whatever. I don't know, Brian. That's your department, tech. Okay, so I just opened the. Okay, yeah, I'm live. Did you know that Angie? Did you know I'm live? By the way, it's 4:44. You would be surprised. Like, I get like. I mean, I'm like in the middle of like a live show, and people are calling me and texting me. It's like, if you're calling me and texting me during a live show, that means you're not watching and not paying attention. Okay? You're supposed to be watching the Next News Network. You're supposed to be watching the Raw feed, not calling me and texting me in the middle of a show. But she's my wife. She has the ability to do that. So is my father. My father just texts me as well. Oh, okay. I don't even know. Where do we go? All right. Okay. So just one. Totally freaking. This. All right. One more check. Okay. Checking on our bookmarks. Folders aren't loading now. Okay. Wait. Let's see. Oh, we're in topic 3, ICE. Hey, look at that. Look at that. How long is that going to last? Now it says cannot retrieve post at this time. Let's see if this works on this phone. Bookmarks. Okay, I'm checking. Hang on. This is so embarrassing. What? I don't even know. Dems, economy. What am I looking for here? POTUS, Dems. What's the name of this thing? What segment are we in? 314 ICE. Please load. Okay. Oh, God. At least the computer breaking down and the text messages I'm receiving were just enough to stall. But I am on a tight deadline right now because I've got someplace to be. And that's why we started early today. You guys are all watching this catastrophe unfold in real time. What are these people called again? Mauritanians? Is that what it is? Anyway. Let's go. All right, sober up, Franchi. It's time to deliver the news. America, something remarkable is happening at our southern border, and the numbers are in, and they are stunning. Border Patrol apprehensions of special interest illegal aliens are down across the board. Mauritanians are down 99.8%. Who knew, right? I didn't even know what a Mauritanian was until Tom Homan brought it to our attention. We also have got the Chinese. Yes, Chinese are down 96%, or as President Trump likes to say, China. Then we have Syrians also down 85%, but what changed is the big question. Well, the president. For 4 years, the Biden administration told us the border crisis was a right-wing fantasy, while millions poured in. Now, with Trump back in the White House, the invasion is grinding to a halt, but the war isn't over. Border Patrol just had a standoff with armed cartel members in Arizona. Yes, Ben Berquam was there. We're going to show you what happened. And shockingly, deep state ICE officials reportedly releasing illegals the Homeland Security captures. The question isn't whether Trump's policies work. The question is who's still fighting to keep the border open and why. So as President Trump secures our borders, Dr. Josh has discovered something just as revolutionary for pain sufferers. Border apprehensions are down 99.8% for Mauritanians, 96% for the Chinese nationals. But Dr. Josh's turmeric, his extract is 200 times more powerful than regular turmeric. And just as Trump's policies are stopping illegal crossings, this breakthrough stops pain at its source. While the administration enforces immigration laws, you can enforce a no-pain policy for your body. When Border Patrol confronts cartels, you're confronting inflammation. Experience the same dramatic results for your pain that Trump delivered at the border at goldenrevive.com/NNN. Now, we had boots on the ground today at the White House. There is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dropping big bombs at her impromptu gaggle to the press. Our own Tom McCullough on the scene capturing this moment.
Of the president.
Couple of questions, Caroline.
Happy Friday.
Can you give us a preview of the President's Justice Department speech?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you know, the President will be heading there later this afternoon. The Attorney General will be there, as well as the FBI Director, Kash Patel. And the President is going to give a speech focused on restoring law and order to our country. In the last 4 years under the Biden administration, we unfortunately saw a Department of Justice that was weaponized against Americans for their political ideologies. It was not focused on fighting violent crime and restoring law and order and public safety. So the President will be talking about his intention to restore those very basic American values to our country. And he will also be there with fentanyl families and angel moms who have lost their children at the hands of illegal migrant criminals who the previous administration allowed into our country, and also, of course, to illegal Chinese fentanyl, which, as you all know, the President feels very strongly about cracking down on drug cartels, drug trafficking, and human trafficking as well. So you'll hear about all of that later this afternoon. I don't want to get ahead of the President any more than that.
Caroline.
I don't have anything on the President's schedule, but that could obviously always change. As you saw in his Truth Social this morning, he is putting pressure on President Putin and the Russians to do the right thing. Yesterday was a productive day for the United States of America and for the world in terms of peace. We have never been this close to peace. You saw the NATO Secretary General in the Oval Office yesterday, you were there with us, who said that only because of President Trump are we here on the verge of brokering a peace deal.
Caroline.
The President talked to President Trump last night.
President
Trump talked to President Putin last night.
He did not, no. Steve Witkoff spoke to him yesterday in Moscow. Has the President spoken with the new incoming Canadian Prime Minister at all this week? I know Mauritanians said they hadn't yet spoken, given everything that's going on. Yeah. Between the United States and Canada, have they spoken? To my knowledge, they have not spoken. When they do, we can provide a report. Do you have any updates?
Caroline.
Yeah, I believe it's still ongoing or it wrapped when I came out here. But, the governor was here to talk about the pipeline that President Trump is very determined to get passed in the New England and New York area. And so that's as far as I know about conversations. I can get an update on it.
John, in the district court rulings about all the fired probationary workers, you used the same language here just now that was in the statement about fighting back against that ruling. Do you mean appealing or something else? And does the administration plan to comply with those orders in the meantime?
Fighting back by appealing, fighting back by using the full weight of the White House counsel's office and our lawyers in the federal government who believe that this injunction is entirely unconstitutional. And it is for anybody who has a basic understanding of the law. You cannot have a low-level district court judge filing an injunction to usurp the executive authority of the President of the United States. That is completely absurd. And as the executive of the executive branch, the President has the ability to fire or hire. And you have these lower level judges who are trying to block this president's agenda. It's very clear. And as I just cited, I was appalled by the statistic when I saw it this morning. In 1 month in February, there have been 15 injunctions of this administration in our agenda. In 3 years under the Biden administration, there were 14 injunctions. So it's very clear that there are judicial activists throughout our judicial branch who are trying to block this president's executive authority. We are going to fight back. And as anyone who saw President Trump and his legal team fighting back They know how to do it. He was indicted nearly 200 times, and he's in the Oval Office now because all of the indictments, all of these injunctions have always been unconstitutional and unfair. They are led by partisan activists who are trying to usurp the will of this president, and we're not going to stand for it.
Can you preview these?
No more usurping the will of the president. Here's Colonel McGregor confirming Mexican cartels have U.S. missiles meant for Ukraine. What do you know?
That is, people in this country are damn well interested in what's happening on the Mexican border, and I just spent 3 days down there because they know that that is a cesspool of barbarism, savagery, criminality, and that's our existential threat. Not China, not Russia, not Iran, not anywhere. You pointed out the weapons going down there are serious. We talked to several people who are border patrolmen, also talked to some Texas Guard people, and said we just go 100 yards on the other side into Mexico, the Javelin missile systems that have found their way to Mexico.
Javelin missile
system? Yeah, we've got it. They've got those things over there.
From Ukraine?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, lovely. I remember we did a report about the missile systems that were uncovered several months back. And now here is a resurfacing of that, even more frightening, Javelin missile systems intended for Ukraine. Here we have, let's go to that action that took place on the border. This is the standoff between the Border Patrol and armed cartel in Arizona. Ben Bergquam saying this is war. Democrats were fighting for the wrong side. Thank God for President Trump and Tom Homan. Holy cow.
Up the hill. They're definitely going up the hill.
Man, go. You want to bring your live view?
They're
sending one guy down.
So got an opportunity. We saw Border Patrol hauling ass out here. Got up here and they're parked here. They went climbing up the hill, and I figure can't see them anymore. They're up and over the hill, but I figure may as well go join them if I can. What time you got, John?
Seeing the agents are up top there. See them on the left? Yeah. So there's another guy. He's right. See him there? Oh, there. Now he's moving. Except for he didn't look.
So I just got up here to Fresno Mountain. The Border Patrol that were hauling ass out here got word there are armed scouts up on that mountain right there, cartel scouts. To show you, Sassabee is right there. The end of the wall is right below me. And as we speak, there are armed scouts up on top of the mountain. Joe Biden quit building the wall. If President Trump had been in office the last 4 years, this wall would have been complete. But it's not now. And the cartels exploit that. They use the fake asylum seekers to push more drugs and traffic more people. And now they're using these openings that Joe Biden left to push the rest of the drugs through. And they're really bad guys. I'm going to climb up here. Border Patrol's up on top of this rock. I'm going to climb up here. I'm going to stay out of their way just to try to get you a better shot of these guys out. Roger. So, just to give you an update, I am in between Border Patrol. I'm going to go over there so you can get a better shot of it. They are right there. So, Border Patrol's right there. He's watching my six. The other guy's spotting the other guys. I'm up right by the monument. Still in the United States. I got the Border Patrol on that side of the ridge. Mexican guys are armed. Looks like long guns, AKs. This is a war. Whether you want to believe it or not, this is a war. For the last 4 years, our government was fighting for the wrong team. It's time to take our country back. I'm going to try to get a shot of these guys so you guys can see it. So they are right up. He's moving? Okay, so they say he's moving. Oh yeah, I see him. He's right there. He's right there. Right in the middle of your screen. There he goes. Yeah. If he comes this way, I'll move, guys. So they're right here.
He's coming to the north side. He's kind of on the east side. Yeah, so he's coming kind of this way. I got video of him right now, though. He's about halfway down to the saddle. Yeah, if you got up to the Red Rocks and look to your right, he's coming down the side of that peak. He's got a backpack, full camo, long gun. Okay, well, I got good video of him right now. Okay. He's coming down to the Red Rocks. You're going to see him. Yep. Okay, cool. Cool. And there may be more than one. That's the only one I have visual on right now. Just heads up. My vantage point looks like I can see two, but it's hard to tell. I thought I was just climbing the mountain with the Border Patrol and left my binoculars down there. But this guy, this first one, went around those red rocks right there. So he went kind of in between that little saddle right there. And now he's going down the west side of the mountain. I believe there's a couple more. They were watching my 6. I'm at the top of this. It's about a 50-foot drop down there, so I don't want to back up too far. They're still watching the top of the mountain, but this just shows you guys. I just want to show you this vantage point. So that's Sassabee right there. That's the wall. This is Fresno Mountain. If you look here, look down here. There's no wall up and over here. It would have been completed if they hadn't stolen the election from President Trump. Now that President Trump's back in office, this wall will be completed. It goes out to where you can see up to those mountains, and it stops. Same thing. It would have been completed to Nogales. It will be, but it's not now. So the cartels basically operate out there in these areas at the bottom of this opening here and right here. And the sense that you get is they're getting desperate. It's the same thing we saw in El Paso. These guys are testing the limits, but they're also going inland because they're getting attacked from within as well. So this whole area, I'm technically in America, but this is Mexico right here. If I step, that rock is Mexico. So I'm in between Border Patrol in Mexico and the cartel, and they've got apparently armed cartel members all over this mountain right now. They told me multiple. One's moved off to the west. They've been watching my 6. I'm going to get out of here because the sun is going down. It just shows you. This is how dangerous this is out here. And thank God for President Trump. Thank God for Tom Homan. But we need to understand this. These guys aren't just going to roll over. Joe Biden and the Democrats gave these guys $12 billion at minimum. That's a low estimate per year for the last 4 years. So they are armed up. They're ready to fight. And they're not going to go peacefully. That's why it's so critical that our military goes in and takes these guys out. Mexico's military goes in and takes these guys out, that we spend our resources on the war that's right here on our southern border. This is a war. Not only have we been losing it for the last 4 years, our government's been fighting for the other team. Now we're fighting for the right side. But it's going to be bloody. It's going to be ugly. And we need to let these guys do their job and take these guys out. And hold the traitors in America that are aiding and abetting these guys accountable. All right. Down without getting shot. On behalf of the American people, thank you guys. Appreciate you. They're definitely going up the hill.
Ben Berquam, dude, he is an American treasure, putting himself right there in the middle of the cartel war that's currently taking place between our Border Patrol and the cartels. As we reported a couple of weeks back, the green light was given for military intervention in Mexico to go after the cartels. And Tom Homan has said that they are not going to spare any expense to wipe these people off the map if they take aggressive action. Here is Tom Homan just 24 hours ago.
Officers, do you think local law enforcement has the resources to both cooperate with ICE and also conduct public safety for Americans that are committing crimes?
Yes.
Why?
Because they want public safety threats out of their community too, and they're willing to work with feds to make that happen. Every time I go in New York City, I don't think I've ever seen an NYPD officer didn't come shake my hand and thank me for what we're doing. They want to help. These officers, they don't get paid a lot of money, but they want to protect their community, and they know someone's here illegally, and they can help not only remove them from community, remove them from the country, make the community safer. They're all in. And I don't think it takes a lot of rather than arresting the same guy 5 times, arrest him once, give it us. You don't arrest him anymore. I think it's going to relieve a lot of officers' time on the streets. And plus, we're talking about, again, I'm not asking the immigration officers. I'm talking about let us in your jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail. That way the PD's not dealing with him anymore when he goes out and recommits. So I think let's put it this way. I've never met a law enforcement officer that came to me and says he does not support the removal of criminal aliens. It makes our community safer, and that's what they're all about. That's why they wear that badge. That's why they took that oath.
And now we have more from the Rapid Response Team. Border Patrol apprehensions of special interest illegal aliens, February 2024 versus 2025.
Illegal aliens from these. You might remember, this is what the border looked like 1 year ago. We had huge numbers of illegal aliens from these special interest countries in the Middle East and China who are being caught and released in front of our cameras virtually every single day. Well, those crossings have now largely dried up, and the year-to-year comparison really tells the story here. So take a look. In February 2024, Border Patrol apprehended 599 Mauritanians. This February, they apprehended only 1. That is a 99.8% decrease. Last February, Border Patrol apprehended 3,507 Chinese. This February, they apprehended just 130. That's a 96% decrease. Syrians went from 27 apprehensions to just 4. That's down 85%. Turkish down 82%, Pakistanis down 61%, and Afghans down 55%. Gotaways have also completely fallen off a cliff since Trump took office. CBP sources tell us over the last 21 days, there have been an average of just 77 gotaways per day nationwide. That's down 95.8% from the Biden highs of fiscal year 2023. That's when there were a staggering 1,830 gotaways on average every single day. President Trump says his administration is now hunting down those gotaways.
We're after many, many bad people that were let into our country. You see, they're taking them out in record numbers. Gang members, gang leaders, drug dealers.
And Dana, on Monday, we reported that DHS launched a new self-deportation app for illegal immigrants. Well, DHS tells me they've already had more than 300 people register on that new app to deport themselves.
That's just not enough, though. I'll say that. And what else have we got here? Here is Ben Berquam now talking about the ICE releasing illegal aliens at home and arrested. Holy cow.
We're releasing. I've got some additional news since we spoke last.
Okay, let's take it first. We're releasing illegals that Tom Homan's ICE agents arrested. I think anybody's jaw is going to drop at the news of this.
Yeah, and apparently, and it's not just San Diego. I got word from Phoenix, got word from multiple different offices across America. There's 2 branches of ICE. You've got HSI, the investigative side of it, and then you've got ERO, the removal side of it. And apparently, there are some deep state holdovers, Biden holdovers on the ERO side that are either refusing to process the people that HSI captures or slow walking it or just making the claim they don't have bed space, which is why I'm out here. I'll talk about this in just a minute. This is a Border Patrol soft site outside of El Paso, Texas. But apparently, many of these ERO offices are either refusing to or dragging their feet on it. And they actually released several of the people in that first operation that Tom Homan kicked off on that first Sunday. Many of those people were actually released by ERO. I'm getting that word.
All right, real quick on this. 1, tell us what ERO is. And 2, Tom Homan has to be steaming mad about this.
Yeah, enforcement removal operation. So that's the removal arm of the Homeland Security ICE. So they're the ones that actually are tasked with taking them once the illegals are captured, taking them through the process, taking them back to a judge, having that judge sign off on it. And this is the other problem. Also speaking to HSI, many of these attorneys' offices that are overseeing it, they are also trying to block many of these deportations. You have activist judges in places places that are trying to block. Even Tren de Aragua, the worst of the worst. Some of these guys are being blocked from being removed by activist judges as well. So we've got every level of government is in opposition. We've got opposition actors against President Trump and Tom Homan. And yes, to answer the question, no doubt Tom Homan is pissed, and they are working through it as we speak. These guys are, and you see what Kash Patel's already doing. They're not messing around. If you're blocking them, they're coming after you with the full force of the law.
Amen. And it is going to happen, and it needs to happen. Tom Homan calmly eats an apple near enraged pro-illegal immigration protesters. I mean, did you notice how many white knights were in that audience? A lot of suburban Karens. Like, what are they fighting for? Really, seriously. Let's hear what J.D. Vance has got to say about green card holders.
America, right? A green card holder, even if I might like that green card holder, doesn't have an indefinite right to be in the United States of America, right? American citizens have different rights from people who have green cards, from people who have student visas. And so my attitude on this is this is not fundamentally about free speech. And to me, yes, it's about national security, but it's also more importantly about who do we, as an American public, decide gets to join our national community? And if the Secretary of State and the President decide this person shouldn't be in America and they have no legal right to stay here, it's as simple as that.
Do you see more such deportations happening?
I think we'll certainly see some people who get deported on student visas if we determine that it's not in the best interest of the United States to have them in our country. So yeah, I don't know how high that number is going to be, but you're going to see more people. A green card holder.
Yeah, I want to see more and more and more. If they are here and they are supporting the enemy, then they got to go. Here's Kayleigh McEnany.
Can't be real. Look at this headline. I couldn't believe it. I texted around. I was like, this can't be real. This happened in the middle of the Biden administration. This is NBC News this morning. Immigration accounted for all, look at that, all U.S. population growth in 2022 to 23, the first time since 1850. So you had the entirety of the increase of the U.S. population coming from immigration, most of it illegal, rather than live births of U.S. citizens. That's stunning. And this as they're cooking the numbers. Bill Malhusian, though, sent some real numbers, and I love it. He gives all this data. I just have so much fun on my calculator. He just sent out some new data that gotaways are down to about 77 a day. That is down from 1,080. There you go, 1,830. Amazing number. And the numbers you put up, Emily, I did some back of the envelope math. If you look at the percentage of criminals that are being arrested, because everyone's like, we don't want to get non-criminals, that's our focus. 73.4% of those arrested have been criminals or those with a criminal charge, more than 1,000 gang members. Think about all the lives saved from fentanyl, all the Lake and Rileys out there whose lives might have been saved because this administration's taking it seriously.
So the establishment told us for years that strong borders were impossible. There's nothing we could do, they said. It's a complex humanitarian issue. Now we know it was all a lie. All it took was a president willing to enforce our laws. It took a president who loves America more than he loves the global financial system that profits from cheap labor. The results are indisputable. Border crossings collapsing by 60, 70, even 99% in some categories. But here's what you should be worried about. NBC reported that for the first time since 1850, all U.S. population growth came from immigration instead of births. This isn't just about illegal immigration. It's about the future of our country. So I have to ask, if our nation's entire population growth now depends on importing people, what happens to American culture, American values, and the American way of life? Stand for secure borders with our next news merch, link below in the merch shop. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I am way behind schedule. I needed to have this show wrapped a long time ago, and I need to leave. I have a family event I need to go to. So we're going to pick up this stuff on Monday, and we'll see you then. I'll be in Washington, D.C. Make sure to all of our members, welcome our new members, 22 new members, to check the members playlist so you can see the behind-the-scenes stuff that I post as I'm traveling, as I'm going to the White House. It's crazy because we had all these disruptions with X, and then we had like disruptions with my own computer systems here, like all simultaneously happening. Very bizarre. Could all be completely random, or it could be targeted. I don't know. So just say a prayer for us as we travel into the swamp on Monday, and we'll see you all next time on the Raw Feed.